Let's get started.
Welcome to the Financial Purpose Podcast. All opinions expressed by me or guests of the podcast are solely our own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Life Moves Wealth Management. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for any investment decisions. Clients of Life Moves Wealth Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Financial Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, Dale Schaefer. This is episode 86. And it's funny, I have a topic that is so timely for one really ridiculous reason. I'm a little under the weather, if you can hear it in my voice. I've been doing a lot of stuff outside, I've been around a lot of people, caught a little bit of a, start of the summer cold, whatever. I rode the bike every day last week, been out in the sun, played golf on Sunday. Josh, kind of funny. Played golf. We talk about golf a lot. Josh is, of course, the producer of the podcast, low handicap golfer in a golf league, all that fun stuff. And so I played on Sunday with a couple of buddies from Scottsdale Leadership, and did not have a good round for me. I haven't played since December. It wasn't very good. I played with two guys that I don't know, and I'm sure they were like, my gosh, like who invited this freaking hack, right? Like he's terrible. But there was one hole. Now, you've played this course. We played McDowell Mountain Ranch golf course. And I want to say it's like hole number 13 or 14. It's a par 5. And hit my tee shot. It went a little bit left, landed in play just on the inside of the car path. And so hit my second shot, and it went up into this big Palo Verde tree. And I thought for sure it sailed out the left side of the fairway and into, the desert where you can't go get it. And it hit the Palo Verde tree and turns out just dropped right in front of it. And so, you're 13, 14 holes into the round, you're frustrated, like nothing's working. You're trying a couple things with your swing, you're adjusting your grip, you're doing all the dumb things, right? That and my driver, the head of the driver, it has one of those adjustable where I can change the
loft.
Yep. And so that little screw was loose, and so my driver head was rattling, and I couldn't find my adjustment tool in the bag, which I ended up finding like at the end of the round. But anyway, ball drops, Palo Verde tree, and so I step up, and I'm like, I don't know, 120, 130 yards out, something like that. And so I just grabbed the 9-iron, literally stepped up and just swung and hit it and turned around because I'm like, I don't care where it goes at this point. And I kind of like looked over my shoulder and I saw it drop and then roll onto the green. And I was like, all right, finally, like I'll putt this out wherever it lands. Like we'll get through the hole. And it starts dripping, and then ploop, disappears.
Nice.
Yeah. So like shot of my life from that yardage. Eagle,
right,
as just a hole in. It was really crazy. So anyway, it's hot. I think just being out in the hot air on the bike, being out in the hot sun, playing golf, I think my body's just like, bro, take a break. So I think that's where I am. But the reason why that's timely is because the topic that I had picked for this week literally is the viral financial advice is making me sick. And here I am under the weather. So literally, it's made me sick. But I want to talk today about some of the stuff I'm getting on that people are sending me viral financial advice on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And this episode is inspired by a video that was sent to me last week. And the video was about how a UGMA, or Uniform Gift to Minors Act account, and this is like the whole thing. So you need to open a UGMA account because all you have to do is start with $100 and then put $100 a week in. And that account's going to grow to more than $1 million by the time that child turns 18. And it's simple. All you have to do is just put the money in and it's going to grow. Now, that sounds amazing, but I do math professionally and I couldn't get those numbers to work. That and on the video, they're showing like the background. So it's a guy sitting in the forefront talking about the UGMA account. The background is scrolling across like this massive estate mansion kind of house. And so already like the imagery is just stupid. No comparison to the Uniform Transfers to Minors Act, or UTMA account type, which there are some differences, some similarities, but some differences. No discussion about the potential kiddie tax exposure when the child owns the asset account. Never mind that a UGMA account belongs solely to that minor, which is important again for the tax consequence. When you put money into it, it's considered an irrevocable gift to the child. So gift tax becomes, or the gift tax exclusion, I should say, limit becomes a consideration. No discussion about a 529 account and if that's any better, because when the minor owns the account, I know it may change in 18 years, but currently, when they do the FAFSA, Federal Application for Student Aid, any asset that the child owns carries the highest weight of responsibility in that calculation at 20%. And by the way, there's no tax advantages on the UTMA or the UGMA account, but there is a triple tax advantage on the 529 account. So no discussion about this could be right for you, this could be right for you, this could be right for you. Here's all the things you need to consider. Why? Because it's not sexy in a 45-second soundbite when you're playing a photo of a mansion behind you talking about how the thing can grow. And by the way, because I do math professionally, the math was way off unless the child continues the habit. Now, the gentleman on this video did say this. If the child continued the habit of saving $100 per month to that account through their age 65 and never touched it, good luck, but they never touch it, and it earns a consistent 8% rate of return, which I picked out the 8% to get the math to work. They never touch the money. The account balance can grow to $2.3 million in today's dollars. So not including the rate of inflation, which is going to eat that alive over the next 65 years. It's insane. So anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. There's some misleading financial ideas floating around on TikTok and other forms of social media, and TikTok seems to be the worst. I can't stand some of the videos I get as a financial professional, seeing people who don't have a license, never took a test, never advised anybody for reals, never been paid, never had to ask somebody, never had to have somebody trust them, never had to deal with a market downturn, and never lost sleep because their clients' monies or accounts are in withdrawal, or the values are down because the market's acting up, whatever, right? So this person's never had to do anything that matters. They have no teeth, no responsibility for their advice. But anyway, I want to bust some of these, and these are like 5 that I pulled out that I've seen recently. And I'm going to tell you the claim, and then I'm going to debunk it. And I hope that this is going to be helpful, because there's a lot of viral misguidance out there, and we need to set the record straight. So here's the first viral misguidance that I've identified. Paying off your mortgage is a bad idea. Use that money to invest instead. Now, I'm sure you've seen the video. Don't pay down your mortgage. Just invest and you'll earn more. Now, that advice is not totally wrong. And in fact, you can go back a couple of episodes where I talked about opportunity cost, and I also talked about where to use your next dollar. And I said that paying down a mortgage might not be the best use of a large lump sum of money, but it could, depending on the situation. And that's the key, is that this advice is dangerously incomplete. So if the market outperforms the rate of your mortgage, yep, that makes sense. But it ignores things like your risk tolerance, market volatility, the peace of mind that you might have if you're the kind of person who needs to have no debt and it's like a burning thing. It may not matter if your mortgage is 3% and you can earn a higher rate in the market, whatever that might look like. It may not matter to you. And so that needs to be considered. The advice is misleading because it's often given without context. It ignores your debt ratio, your risk tolerance, your investment knowledge, your ability to invest, your tax situation, the balance of your mortgage account, other financial goals that you might have in your financial plan. It also assumes that a guaranteed higher rate of return is always going to be the case. And it assumes that the rate of return is currently higher than the mortgage. And if you look at this year, I'm pretty sure if you've bought a home in the last year, your mortgage rate is higher than your market return at this point. For most portfolios, especially a diversified portfolio. Now, there are some outliers. You might have one stock that's just ripping, and it's an accident that it's ripping. You're not that smart. Nobody can pick all the winners all the time. So it's if you have a diversified portfolio, you need to check the conditions before you take this advice. So there's a big difference between can and should, and money that's invested may outperform the mortgage rate, but it comes with risk. Paying off the mortgage gives you, in essence, a guaranteed. I think I'm missing a page. I might be missing a page of my notes. Yeah. Bummer. I'm missing a page of my notes. Okay, I'm gonna have to wing some of this. So hold on. We're not gonna pause this. I'm gonna play the Jeopardy tune. We're gonna have some fun with it. But I think I can do this. So here we go. Let's see. I have it on my phone. Yeah. Okay. So the mortgage may give you what looks like a guaranteed rate of return by paying it off earlier, but remember, there's only two ways. Once you pay off the mortgage and your home is free and clear, there's only two ways to use the value of the home. Number one is to borrow again, take out a loan against it, and number two is to sell the house, which may not be ideal for all sorts of reasons because of the cost of ownership of a new place, the ability to have enough down payment for a bigger home, possibly capital gains tax on the home if the value is greater than the exemption. So there's a lot of considerations. There's a lot of things that people aren't thinking about when they're giving you this advice. So I would say pause. If you're thinking about paying off your mortgage, pencil it out, run the numbers, see what else is important. Make sure it aligns with everything else that's in your financial plan. All right, number 2. All you have to do is open an LLC and then write off all of your expenses as business expenses, and it's like getting a tax-free gift because you can pay for everything through the business and then write it all off. Let me just tell you that the IRS disagrees. I'll just start there. An LLC is for business purposes. It's a limited liability corporation that shields business activity from personal liability. You have to have legitimate business going concern to keep an LLC active and for the IRS to not consider you a hobby after multiple years of carrying the loss with no defined business activity. And there are even limits to what you can write off and how much and under what categories. So you can't just start an LLC, run all of your expenses through it, and then get the tax deduction. Second, that's called living out of your business, and it is a breach of your fiduciary duty as a business owner, because if you didn't know, as a business owner, you have a fiduciary duty to protect that business and operate in that business's best interest, not your own as the business owner. Right? Crazy. But you have to do that. The other thing is that it is a massive compliance issue. It is it's a fraud concern at the IRS. It's definitely an audit flag. They will eventually catch you, and it makes your business worth literally nothing because you're sucking everything out of it. It has no transferable value. So the TikTok advice to just open an LLC and run everything through it, bad advice. Don't do it that way. It's terrible for you. It's terrible for the business. You don't want to deal with the side effects of an IRS audit. You don't. You do not want an IRS auditor up your windpipe, tailpipe. You don't. It's not fun. And what will happen is if you're found liable, they'll consider it tax fraud, and you're going to have to pay all that money back with fines and penalties and all of that. Just don't do it. It's stupid. It's stupid advice. Don't do it. All right. Number 3. You don't need a credit score. Just buy everything in cash. All right. So this is a really good one. This is actually very timely as well. This one in particular, because I've been asked to do a financial literacy course for a group of young adults who are aging out of the foster care system. And as a part of their life skills program, they need some financial literacy engagement. And so the one of the individuals who works for the nonprofit I've known for a long, long, long time. And she called me and said, hey, is this something you'd be willing to help us with? And so the first thing they want to start with is credit scores. What's a credit score? How do you build it? How do you destroy it? All of that. So this is very timely. You don't need a credit score. Just pay everything with cash. It's misleading because it ignores the importance of a credit history. Sure, for things like buying a home or buying a car or getting a loan for something else, maybe getting a credit card, but your credit gets checked when you rent an apartment. Your credit gets checked when you want to buy car insurance or property insurance or renter's insurance. Your credit gets checked a lot of times when you go for an interview on a job. There's a lot of instances where credit score really, really matters. And it's possible that you will not get the apartment, even though you can afford it because you have the cash, or you might not get the job because your credit score is non-existent or it's really bad, because a credit score is reflective of your character with how you deal with money. And so it's one thing to be starting out and building credit and to be young. And it's another thing to just have no credit, which is kind of explainable, but it looks funky. It's hard to justify. And it just promotes this level of like financial purity, just do everything in cash over practicality. 100 years ago, you didn't need the credit score. You bought everything in cash. That's not the world we live in today. Everything's digital. Everything's trackable. You should be participating. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. I'm going to say that as many times as I can. Cash is not king. Cash erodes in value every single year. What you do with the cash and your ability to make it flow, that is what's king. So credit isn't about having debt, and it's not about going into debt. It's about having access to the things that you need to basically do the adult type things that you need to do in life. You can use credit wisely to build a financial track that's going to open some doors for you. You don't have to go into debt to have good credit, but ignoring it entirely can cost you a lot of opportunity and a lot of money, because it might subject you to higher interest rates if you do get approved for a loan, or smaller limits if you are trying to buy a car or trying to buy a home. You might have a higher interest rate and a lower limit, which means you need to put more money down. And it's just, there's your cash, right? There's how you use your cash. You're gonna be paying for more things in the form of down payment, which is not efficient use of your cash. It's not the best use of working capital. It's not the most optimum way to have money working for you. So you got to think about where credit gets used. You need to build a credit score. It's very easy. If you want some tips on how to get started or how to repair a credit score, you can send me an email at info@lifemoveswealth.com, or even better would be to reach out to my friend Sarah Van Hoos at Journey to Influence. Go to journeytoinfluence.com. Sarah did a financial literacy workshop with me a couple of weeks ago. And in fact, Sarah did the workshop and I was like her helper assistant, kind of, Vanna White type thing. And she's awesome. And she's a great financial coach. So she can help you as well. Having a credit score is vital in the world we live in today. Don't ignore it. Don't listen to the TikTok people who say you can just buy everything in cash, because quite simply, you probably can't. And if you try, the cash over time is worth less a year from now than it is today. So it just loses value. All right. Next, this is one of my favorites. I hope I don't go on this one for a good 10, 20 minutes. Max out a life insurance policy. It's way better than a retirement account. Man. During the pandemic, this one came a lot. This one came out a lot. Is on a lot of accounts. It was very frustrating. A group of CFPs that I'm part of on social media went after a lot of these people, tried to debunk them. There was one individual in particular who actually lives here in the Valley, who garnered a very big following and gave a lot of bad information. And we went after him hard because it's just not cool to spread bad information or half information and get people hooked onto something that you benefit from in the form of a commission. So a lot of influencers, and usually they're selling insurance. That's why it's better. They promote whole life policies or index universal life policies as the ultimate investment strategy because you can bank on yourself and you're not giving money to the bank, and it's not locked away in the 401k until you're 59 and a half. You can use it anytime you want. It's tax free, blah, blah, blah. Here's the truth. Life insurance has a place in any financial plan, but it is not a replacement for a retirement plan that is tax preferenced by the tax code. In a life insurance product, the fees are higher than an investment account, a 401k, an IRA, a Roth IRA. The returns, regardless of how they project them, are more modest than what's possible with a market investment in a retirement account. And you actually lose flexibility because you have to keep paying into that program. And it takes a while for the life insurance cash value that's built, or I should say the cash value that's built inside of the life insurance policy. It takes a while for that to build up to anything that's even usable, that you can even tax-free withdrawal from. And then once you do that, you have to catch up again. And yes, you pay it back and, you're benefiting from the interest rate that they charge you, whatever the sales pitch is. A life insurance product and a deferred retirement plan should never be compared because they are designed to do completely different things in your financial plan. And anyone doing this is my claim. And if you have a problem with this, I want to hear about it. I'd love to have this conversation. But anybody who compares these two things, a life insurance product and a tax deferred retirement plan, is either dumb or very much a con artist looking to earn a commission. So again, that's my claim. If you're one of these people who's spreading this falseness about life insurance, you're doing it wrong. And we, the people who are financial professionals who hold designations and have a fiduciary duty to people, we do not like you because you're misleading people and it's not cool. So these products are often promoted by commission-based agents. They don't disclose the fees. They don't disclose break-even periods. They don't disclose opportunity cost. They do projections with inflated interest rates or inflated rates of return that are not realistic. And I can combat that historically. Somebody who's going to project something at 8%, I'm going to tell you, it's not how it works out. The math does not work. I've seen too many of these things blow up because the premiums become excessive or people stop paying them or they borrow tax-free from themselves and then the policy dies. The cost of the insurance, the commissions paid to none of that stuff gets disclosed. And it treats life insurance as an investment. And it's not. Life insurance is not an investment. Life insurance serves a very specific purpose. It's not a retirement plan. Most people would be better off maxing out their company-sponsored plan if they have one because they're getting a match from the employer. It's free money. There's no free money in a life insurance plan because it's not an investment. So most people are better off putting money into a tax advantage plan, probably because they're going to get a tax benefit either the year that they make the contribution, or if it's a Roth, they're getting the tax benefit later in life when they're not paying RMDs and they're able to access that money tax-free. That's growing completely tax-free. The other thing is that most people don't have the level of wealth to execute properly the Rockefeller plan that all these rich people don't want you to know about, right? So this whole thing with, oh, this is how the Rockefellers built their dynastic wealth, and you can do it too, and it all starts with life insurance. And there may be some merit there, but it's life insurance. It's not an investment. So bottom line, the reason that the word guru is such a popular word is because charlatan is so hard to spell. And that's a William Bernstein quote. And I love that quote. It's very applicable to a lot of financial people. So insurance, last thing I'm going to say on this, insurance should solve a risk problem. It should mitigate risk. It's literally in the risk management bucket of financial planning. It should not be sold as a magical way to build wealth. It's not an investment. There's a reason it's not in the investment bucket of the 7 areas of financial planning. It's in the risk management bucket. So before you get tricked into buying life insurance as a way to build wealth, call your good buddy Dale. I had some things to say about it, obviously. All right. The last one, this is number 5. And this one I don't have as much of a problem with, but I do kind of have a problem with it because of what I'm seeing in the younger demographic and their work ethic and idealism and things like that. So here's the claim. You can retire early just by saving aggressively in your 20s. FIRE, right? And the FIRE movement caught wind, I don't know, like 10 years ago. And then it came up again in the pandemic when everybody was like, just quit your job and take your government, subsidy and cash out your 401k because there's no tax or penalty on it right now, and just buy a sailboat, sail the world, and YOLO yourself into Instagram fame. The FIRE movement, which is financial independence, retire early, is inspiring. It's so cool. It looks amazing, but it's often oversimplified in social media. So retiring in your 20s, and I almost threw up in my mouth a little bit at the thought of somebody wanting to retire in their 20s. Like, you're barely able to tie your own shoes and you're talking about retirement. What are we doing? And by the way, I say that now as a 43-year-old. When I was in my 20s, I'm pretty sure I knew everything about the world. No, in fact, I did. I knew everything about the world. I literally was an idiot until like 2 days ago. And for some reason, that keeps moving forward. So when I was in my 20s, colossal, right? I couldn't tie my shoes properly. They're probably cross-tied them or something. So I didn't know as much as I thought I did. I'll just tell you that. And that's the benefit of a little bit of age, looking back with wisdom, saying, oh, bless my heart when I was in my 20s. So these poor kids in their 20s thinking they're going to retire and become rich millionaires off from their, Instagram followings and their TikTok views and their gaming profiles and all this other stuff. Man, crazy. Even retiring in your 30s sounds great until you realize that you still need to pay for things like healthcare and the cost of inflation and the risk of investing over a long period of time and needing to draw income because you're still going to need income. And then your evolving life goals, right? Your family planning and where you're going to live and how you're going to drive around. And maybe you're just going to get everything sponsored for yourself. And then maybe you're going to invent the next thing. Maybe. But those instances are not as prevalent as they seem possible for you. And that's just the hard truth about being an adult is some people have that kind of life and most of us don't. It's a big club and we might not be in it, right? That's just the way it is. So it leaves out a lot of those costs that are always increasing. It romanticizes some level of frugality to an extreme that's unrealistic for most. I know even the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, I'm not going to knock that. But there is an element where our attention spans are so much shorter than they used to be. The whole concept of for the next year, live on rice and beans, live like no one else so you can live like no one else, right? These famous Dave quotes. Nobody has that kind of attention span. People can live on ramen noodles for 30 days and post their videos about it, and they're saving so much money. They get bored. Human nature sets in. We need change. We get distracted. We have a short attention span. We want more of what we want in the moment than what we want most, as I talked about in the last episode. And it's hard to hold that standard. So there is value in starting to save early. I'm going to tell you, if you're in your 20s and you're not saving, start today. Like literally go to Fidelity, go to Vanguard, go to Robinhood, go anywhere you want to go, open an account, put some money in, buy an investment. If you don't know what to buy the S&P 500 index fund. The ticker is SPX. Just buy that. Just start there. Right? It's simple. It's easy. You're buying the whole market and let it sit and keep investing, keep putting money into it. Start today. FIRE isn't a finish line. It's a framework. Financial freedom isn't about pinching every penny. It's about building a sustainable lifestyle that you won't outgrow, right? There's a whole thing called lifestyle creep. The more money you make, the more money you spend. Your ability to put a gap between what you spend and what you earn, that's where financial freedom comes from. And so maybe that gap gets bigger because you're pinching pennies. It's just not sustainable. I'm a financial planner. It's not sustainable. It's much, much easier to grow the top line, the amount of money that you earn, than it is to cut the bottom line. It just is. Because the cost of things keep getting more expensive. So you can be as frugal as you want at the grocery store, but we all know it's more expensive to grocery shop today than it was 6 years ago. I almost said 5 years ago, but that was right in the middle of the pandemic and everything was kind of weird. So like, you couldn't get eggs for less than, I don't know, some ridiculous amount of money. So, and toilet paper, remember that whole thing? Oh my gosh, like this time 5 years ago, everybody was hunting for toilet paper. It was a mess. So all that stuff's getting more expensive. The cost of living is getting more expensive. The value of the dollar is eroding because of the rate of inflation. That's just normal. So it's hard to pinch the pennies long term. I've talked about the concept of "and," which is my philosophy for financial planning. And that basically just states that you need to have the ability to live a lifestyle today that makes sense for you and that's enjoyable, because while you're living, you should be enjoying what you're working toward and benefiting from it and taking some money aside and doing some of the things you want to do or having some experiences that you want to have. And you need to be putting money away to fund the future life that you want and the future experiences that you want for yourself, so that you are self-sufficient today and self-sufficient later. And that's important because as a financial planner, I see a lot of life happen, and some people don't get to the later. They just don't. And you never know when your time's going to come. And so it's important. I'm not suggesting that you YOLO your life away while you're here. Don't do that. That's dumb. But enjoy yourself while you're here and set yourself up to enjoy yourself in the future you, right? It's very important. So if you're planning to retire early, the other thing that you better have, and better like this, I cannot emphasize this enough. You better be very clear with your purpose, your financial purpose, your life purpose, whatever you want to tie that to. You better be very clear about it. It better be written down, and you better be able to align with it, because traveling the world and playing golf and sitting on the couch and being an influencer and all these things is fun for a time, but it is not possible. If somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong and I'm old and I'm out of date and I'm not, up and hip and I don't have Riz, right? Like whatever the words are now. I don't know. I'm saying hip. What am I, 40? Yes. I don't know. I don't know the language, so that's why I don't know how to do it. But I'm going to tell you, it's not possible to live an Insta life for 40 years. It's just not. There's a good chance we're not even going to have Instagram in 40 years or 10 years. I mean, who knows where this technology is going to go? AI might replace you, and we may be looking at AI entertainment, and nobody cares about your kayaking trip through the Maldives, whatever. So it's not possible to do that for the rest of your life, and certainly not the way it's portrayed. So early saving is powerful. Financial independence should be sustainable, and you have to do it in a way that it is sustainable and not just extreme in your frugality for a few years. Build something in place you're going to be able to keep up with that will still make sense to you, that will still build wealth. I mean, I do it on a weekly basis. I have weekly transfers into my trust account. I have weekly transfers into a high yield savings account. And it's not a lot of money, but it's enough that keeps me on track for where I want to go and what I'm trying to accomplish next. And it's really easy to do. It's easy to set that up. And that's a better way to kind of fire yourself, like in the real sense. Like you're going to get to a point where you're going to have enough wealth where you can ask the question, do I have to keep working all the time? Do I have to keep working in this job or this career? Can I start doing something else that I want to do? Do I have enough of a cushion to continue to support a lifestyle? I'm at an age where I can, quote unquote, retire and do something else, right? I have enough independence. Fire yourself from what you're doing. That's a much better way to think about it rather than trying to pinch every penny you have now and live no life and put yourself at financial risk of not being able to sustain it. And what if you don't save enough? Like you think $1 million is your target and you hit it. What if that's not enough? What if you turn 50 because you retired when you were 26? Which, by the way, if you can save $1 million by the time you're 26, good for you. Like incredible. It better keep growing, right? But if you're just drawing off from it and living this big lifestyle, you might run out of money early. So you got to think about that. You got to do the math. You got to get a financial planner. So here's a takeaway. Not everything that goes viral is valuable. It is. So always ask yourself, does this advice that I'm getting on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, good Lord, wherever you're getting it, does this advice fit my goals? Does it align with what I want for myself? Does it match my values? Does it help me get to where I want to go? Does it serve my purpose financially? And if you want to know what I mean by financial purpose, go all the way back to episode 4. I talked at length about financial purpose and how to write your own financial purpose statement. So do that. And if you're unsure about how to answer these questions as you run across this advice on TikTok or any other form of social media, I'm going to pick on TikTok hard because this is where most of it lives. Send it to me. I am not on TikTok on purpose, but I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, email, text, whatever. Send it to me and I'll watch the video and I'll say, okay, here's what you need to think about. Here's what you need to consider. Here's what they didn't tell you. So at least you have somebody with an expert opinion giving you some guidance rather than just going, ooh, that sounds amazing. My kid could be a millionaire by the time they're 18 and it's only $100 a week. Sure. Make sure you can do it. Let's talk about all the considerations and I'm happy to help. So connect with me anywhere you can find me on social media. I'm not that hard to find. And you can always email info@lifemoveswealth.com, or even better, you can go to lifemoveswealth.com and click that schedule time with me button. And I'll be happy to give you a free consultation on your financial situation. If I can't help you, like if it's not beneficial for you to pay for ongoing financial planning, I'm going to tell you because I have a fiduciary duty to do so. And I'm going to tell you what you can do instead. I'm going to point you in the right direction. And if you are somebody who absolutely needs ongoing financial advice, I'm going to tell you that as well. And we're going to talk about what that means and what's included and why it's important. Specifically, if you're a business owner and you don't have financial advice in your life, you are missing out. It's very important that we get together soon because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be for you to get the outcomes with your business that you want, meaning your ability to fire yourself, transition that business. Business is not as easy to transition as any other asset. There's a lot of planning involved. There's a lot of preparation that needs to be done. It's going to take us a couple of years to do it right. We should get started. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful to you. Send me your crazy TikTok videos. I want to see them because Number one, I get to say swear words when I see them. And number two, I get to give you better advice than what they're doing. And I love both of those things. So reach out, send me those videos. I love it. And until the next episode, go be a boss. Go be financially awesome. Take care. See you. Thanks for listening to this episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. To learn more about your financial purpose, visit lifemoveswealth.com.